Hello and welcome to my F1 2013 100% Race Ultra Mod Career Mode. The career mode where I've installed a whole lot of mods to make the career mode more interesting, and we're doing a 100% race distance. And for this episode I've got a new mod to add to my list in the form of the F1 2014 audio mod, which means the cars sound sort of similar to the 2014 cars of today, with those V6 turbo engine, bit of whistling as the car goes along, and generally just a much quieter sort of package. Whether or not you like it or not, you know, it's an F1 2014 feature, and I thought it'd be quite cool to add to this career mode, give it another element. But as always, we've got the realistic damage mod, which will make things very interesting at the beginning with all the cars packed up together, and because we're starting from 22nd, it should be a very good race indeed. And there's even forecast for rain during the race with 9% chance of rain in the race. So without further ado, let's get into the Malaysian Grand Prix for this F1 2013 100% career mode. So here we are for the start of the Malaysian Grand Prix race. As you can see there, we've got some rain out on track. We're on the full wet tyres for the start of this race, which will make it very interesting indeed. Starting from 22nd on the grid, and as always with those fixed gear ratios, as you would have seen on the rules list. If you're wondering about those, essentially in 2014 all the cars have to keep the same gear ratios for the whole season. They're allowed to play one joker card, and we're going to play by the same rules. So we've got that gearbox we nominated in the first episode of the Australian Grand Prix. We're sticking with it as always, sticking to the rules, and here we go. We're starting on the wet tyres, and the strategy for now is 3 wets, but I suspect with only 9% chance of rain, it's going to be pretty impossible that it's going to be wet the whole race. Fingers crossed here, so we see an exciting one. Because although the wet weather might throw up a few surprises, it's not always the best thing to have it for the full race distance. So here's hoping it gets drier. So we're starting on the full wet, so we've got some way to go until it gets dry. And we'll be going into intermediates before it even gets to the dry tyres. So it'd be some interesting action if we do get that scenario. So here we are, 22nd on the grid, and we're going for 5 red lights for this 100% race of Malaysia, and we are off. And we're having an okay start, and to be honest, we don't want to really get a mega start and go into the first corner too hot. We've got that realistic damage mod, which is going to make things very interesting indeed. I actually turned it down. I had it on realistic, the realistic setting for the last episode, but only 9 cars finished, so I've turned it down by 1, so it's still on the high setting, so hopefully we can get some more cars finishing this race, so it's not absurdly stupid in terms of the number of crashes. But coming through to the first few corners now, we're up to 19th place, taking it very easy into that first corner, and oh god, we've got a big slide on the rear snapped out on us. We've caught it though, and we're still in a nice 19th place. We're going to try maybe move down the inside. Oh god, been a front wing off. I think that may have been a Sauber. I think that was, and nearly lost the rear again, but we've controlled it now, and we're side by side. I think that was Daniel Ricciardo. Yes, we are side by side with Daniel Ricciardo now. He lets us go through, so we're into 15th place at the moment after that crash between the Sauber, I believe, and what looked like maybe a Caterham, but now we're up to 15th place behind Jean-Eric Vergne, the Frenchman. And it's only lap 1, so this is pretty good. Not as good as the start we had in Australia, but you know, this is wet weather, so we need to be extra careful. And getting very close to Vergne, and Vergne's lost his front wing there. Vergne lost the front. Oh god, we've lost the rear completely, and we've had to give up the place. 2 places, in fact, nearly 3, but we fended off Ricciardo. As I was saying, Vergne crashed into our teammate Pastor Maldonado, and he lost his front wing, and then I completely lost the rear there, but we've caught it back now. We've lost 2 places, but can we gain them back instantaneously? Oh god, getting very close to Adrian Sutil there, as he was being squeezed out by Jean-Eric Vergne with no front wing, and we're easily back past him for 14th place now. And now we've just got to really try and catch up to that pack. As you can see on the mini-map, the pack is broken away. And the tail end of that pack is my teammate Pastor Maldonado in 13th place. So we'll be hoping we can try and catch up. And yes, we have onto lap 3. As you can see there, just as we came to shot, we overtook my teammate Pastor Maldonado. We're in 13th place now at the moment. 12th place is Paul di Resta in front of us. No damage so far. So very good to see. We've kept it clean as possible. And we've had a few close shaves, really, with losing the rear, and also with that Adrian Sutil move. He got very close to our front wing, really, and one little tap, and it's sort of game over in a way, with the front wing completely flying off. And it's just about where you are on track when you break that front wing. But hopefully, you know, hopefully for the foreseeable future for this race, we won't be talking about that. And we're catching up to Kimi Räikkönen, who's struggling seemingly in P12 on lap 4. We're going to maybe try and make a move. I think we've got Paul di Resta there in front of him. And Raikkonen actually has no front wing there. Yep, no front wing. I could just see that. No front wing, so it managed to get past him relatively easy. And now we're coming on to lap 5. And we're behind Paul di Resta. He's in 11th place. I'm in 12th, so we're going to want to try and catch him up. Let's got another car there. I think that's a silver car, maybe Mercedes or maybe a McLaren. We'll have to see who it is. It's Jenson Button. Jenson Button has been overtaken by Paul di Resta. We're going round and we're going to dance around Jenson Button as we lose the rear there, but we just managed to dance around Jenson Button around that corner for 11th place. I think he actually lost his front wing as well. So plenty of front wings being taken off from the AI cars, but so far so good for me. No damage to my car, to my lovely looking white Williams. But now we're going onto the intermediate tyres here on lap 7. The AI have already pit for intermediates actually 2 laps earlier than me. Probably should have gone with them, but I thought, you know, the conditions looked okay for wet still. Much like the real-life Malaysian Grand Prix we saw in qualifying. You know, cars, you know, seemingly going on 2 different kind of strategies. You know, some with wets, some with inters. It seems, you know, some cars suit the wets and inters, and at that moment in time in this Grand Prix, I just felt more comfortable in the wets, so we went two laps longer than the AI. But now we're onto the intermediates, the same tyre as those AI cars, and we should come out there relatively just in 11th. Not going to lose any places, but we didn't gain any really. But we are a bit closer to Paul di Resta, I think, as it looks like on the mini-map. We're going around this corner very cautiously. We're going to want to try and catch up on Paul di Resta, who is now in 10th place. So he's got the last points paying position. But here on to lap 13 now, and we're going to try and overtake Paul di Resta. We're going around the outside just like we did to Jenson Button, and we've danced around the outside of Paul di Resta there. 10th place, the last points paying position at this stage of the Grand Prix. Only 13 laps in. We've got a long Grand Prix ahead of us with 56 laps in total. So still, we can make the positions up, and I think we can even get close to a podium. We're going to have to see if the actual podium is likely. I'm not too sure after we lost quite a bit of time in the wet weather. The AI are quite good in the wet weather compared to the dry on this game for some unknown reason, really. A bit disappointing to see that. But we're going to dive into the pits last minute. As I could see in the corner of my eye, I could see an AI car in the pits and in the mini-map. So I just managed to dive into the pits, went across the gravel and the grass a tiny bit to cut the corner a tiny bit to get into the pit lane. But here we are for the pit stop. We're going to go into the prime tyres. It looks like all the AI are actually going into the option tyre. So I'm going to go on the prime tyres, so that will see me go a bit longer into the Grand Prix now with the prime tyres. And hopefully the kind of nature of the prime tyres being a lot harder will just help me in the first few stages of this stint. As obviously it's still a bit damp, you can see a bit of spray on the tyres, so it's going to be a bit damp, so the tyres may spin up on the rears a bit, so hopefully this will help me with the tyre wear overall, and maybe allow me to push towards the end. But we're losing it as we come out, and we just have to be careful because we've got Paul di Resta right behind us, so we don't want to spin up completely and go 360 somewhere. So we just have to take it cautiously, try and catch up to now what is Gutierrez in 9th place, and see what we can do on these prime tyres. Now I think I've got much better pace on the dry tyres, and now as we cut onto lap 17, we're chasing down Felipe Massa, who's been overtaken by Gutierrez, so quite surprising there actually. But we're up to 9th place now, as someone has pit. I believe it's Sergio Perez, and now we're chasing up to Felipe Massa, who, as you can see there, is battling with the Sauber of Gutierrez. So we're going to try and catch up on them and maybe do a double overtake. If we could do that, that would be quite special indeed. If we could take them in the same series of corners. On to lap 17, we've got the DRS of Massa. We've caught up to him right onto the back of his gearbox now, and we're going to have DRS. We've got half a bar of KERS onto the pit straight onto lap 18. The engine's overheating a tad, but we'll concentrate on the overtaking for now. We've got DRS wide open. We're going to get the slipstream on Massa. We're going to duck right. I'm going to go down the inside of Felipe Massa. He's giving me a fight for it, but we've got it. And oh god, we're losing the rear a tiny bit. We just managed to catch it, and that was a brilliant move, I do say so myself. As in the braking stages, just as we got round the corner, the rear started to give way. You could see my steering wheel was twitching a bit as I had to catch the car. But we've made the move stick on Felipe Massa. A very good move, if I do say so myself again. Yeah, very pleased with that move, actually. And we're on the primes, and Gutierrez, the confirmation that he's on the option tyres, the medium-walled white tyre. and then also is Massa. So surprisingly, we've got more pace than them on the prime tyres at this stage, only 18 laps in, so there's still a bit of high fuel involved here. So quite surprising, I've got the pace on these guys on the primes. I guess maybe the primes allow me to lean a bit more on the tyre. And now we're going to try and make a move down the outside of Gutierrez into this corner. Can be another third overtake around the outside here. Yes, we can. We're going to plant the power, and we're going to squeeze out Gutierrez just about. And oh, bit of a twitch there as Gutierrez was still very much there, but now we've overtaken him, making the move stuck, and that's a lovely, nice move. Third move of the Grand Prix. Around the outside there, we just danced it around the outside. Not as twitchy as before with Button and DeResta, as there's no rain now, but still a nice move around the outside. Seems this corner is faring quite well until now. We've lost the rear. We've caught up to Mark Webber, who was in 6th place. We're in 7th, but as I just said, the words, that corner was treating us quite well for overtaking. We completely lost the rear coming out that corner. And we're in 7th place. We've got ground to catch up now. We've got Grosjean in 6th place. So seemingly Mark Webber's had the pace to overtake the Lotus car. So we've lost what could have potentially been 6th place by overtaking Mark Webber there, as we were within a second of him. And now we're stuck behind Romain Grosjean. Not stuck behind, we're coming back up to the 6th place man, but this time it's Romain Grosjean, not Mark Webber. We've got the DRS though. We've used a lot of our curves on the previous straight, but we should still have the straight line speed. And here we go, down to lean mix just to save a bit of fuel, because I am actually on -1 of fuel at the moment, guys. So we're going to have to try and save some fuel also at some point in the Grand Prix to make it to the end on optimum fuel. But we're up into 6th place now. That simple move on Romain Grosjean. Not as much as a fight as it was on Felipe Massa. And we're up to 6th place now. We can maybe try and chase down Mark Webber, but it's going to be tough. And the tyres are also starting to wear out this stage. We'll have to be wary of when we are going to make our pit stop. And so on to lap 28, we can see the tyre graphic is right there. We're into lean mix at the moment. The tyres are going off. They're pretty much, that front left especially is getting to a sort of red brownish zone, and the rear tyres aren't looking too healthy either. I think it may be time to make a pit stop. We're into lean mix to save fuel, as we're a -1 fuel for the whole race at the moment still, so we need to go into lean to try and save some of that. So best time to do it is on our in-lap really, or the second half of the in-lap. And so we're coming into the pits now for a pit stop. We're going to the option tyres now, so I think 2 more option stints should see us to the end of the race. I hope so, otherwise we'll be in big trouble, because I'm going to the options now. So really the best strategy to do is 2 options and see if they hopefully go to the end. Here's hoping that. So here's our pit stop now. Let's hope it's a good one. An okay pit stop there. 3 seconds, 0.1. So we're up into 7th place at this moment. No, 9th place now. Wow, Gutierrez and Massa have stormed past us just there as we exited the pits. So we're in 9th place. We've got the ground to make up. I'm not too sure if they pit or not. I can't really tell. I think they may have not pit yet, so they may be on a very different strategy to us. So we're going to maybe have to re-overtake Gutierrez and Massa. We'll have to see. Now we've closed on Gutierrez, and yes, Massa and Gutierrez are not going to the pit, so seemingly on a different tyre strategy for... I'm not actually sure what strategy they could be on. We'll have to see about that. We're on -1 fuel, but we've got the DRS open, and we're going to get the slipstream of Gutierrez, flick it right, and we're going to overtake Gutierrez. Should be a nice easy move, squeezing him out onto the apex. No kind of shakiness this time into turn 1 like we had with Felipe Massa, and it's a pretty standard move like we made on Romain Grosjean earlier. And on to lap 30, we're in P7 now chasing down Felipe Massa, who is in 6th place. So I believe we may have gained 1 place, because I think that's Massa, then Grosjean, or I think that may be Hulkenberg. So we're catching up to Hulkenberg on lap 31, so I do believe that was Massa, then Hulkenberg. Now it's Hulkenberg and of Force India. So actually Massa may have just pit right now. We didn't see it though. And we've opened DRS now onto lap 32. And all I know is we're in P6 at the moment, so I think definitely Massa did pit. I'm going to try and overtake Hulkenberg for P5 down the inside. We're going to stick it down the inside. He's going to give us room. We're going to give him room. We're going to respect him as a driver. We're going to give him enough room down the inside. He's in my mirrors. We can see on the left mirror he's just got away from us. And so we're in 5th place. A nice comfortable 5th place here in the Malaysian Grand Prix. It's working well for us at the moment. And so now on to lap 37. We're in P5 at the moment, and we've got Fernando Alonso in 4th place, quite some way ahead. So I'm not too sure how we'll be able to get him, but we've locked up a bit there, and Hulkenberg is right behind us, so he's still very much there. So we need to be wary of the German driver. As I was just saying there, you can see the gap is huge to Fernando Alonso, so I don't think we'll be catching him. So I think maybe this might be our finishing position. We'll have to see, but Hulkenberg is right behind me. We're locked up there. quite a bit. So Hulkenberg has come back, and he'll definitely be in a DRS zone. So we'll have to see what happens. At the moment, he will have DRS. I've used half my KERS, but it's no use. The DRS more powerful, and it is, there you go. Hulkenberg has overtaken us for 5th place at the moment. We're in 6th place. Felipe Massa behind us is looking to join into the fight, and we're not going to have DRS. I know we do have DRS, but we've lost the rear there. We're going to have to use our KERS and DRS to kind of defend from Massa and not attack Hulkenberg, as we're defending from Massa, who does have DRS from us. So really a shame there. We lost the rear, so we're going to have to watch out on the next lap and make sure we don't make the same mistake twice as we lost the rear there. And as we cut into shot on lap 38, again losing the rear a tiny bit, twitching around here at Malaysia, and Massa is going to overtake us in this DRS zone, but the DRS line just passes there, so we should have DRS. Massa won't, so this is actually going to play into our hands, as Massa may have been ahead of us now, but we will surely be ahead of him by the end of this straight, as we get DRS wide open onto lap 39. We're going to slipstream Felipe Massa, we're going to fake left and then go right, and we're going to overtake Felipe Massa for 6th place. So back up to 6th place, now chasing down Hulkenberg, who's in 5th place. Going to want to try and get that 5th place back. I think that's probably maybe the highest we can get, as we saw Alonso in 4th place was about 38 seconds ahead. So I don't really see us getting up to that level, but we'll have to see how it goes. Something may happen. On to lap 39 now, and Felipe Massa is trying to overtake me, but I'm actually going to go into the pits now for my last pit stop. We're going to follow in Hulkenberg, and this will be theoretically my last pit stop for another set of option tyres. Now, it's going to be very tricky. It's going to be very marginal if they survive till lap 56. That is 16 laps on the option tyres, and I think this option tyre set currently that I'm using has only lasted me, I think it's only lasted me about 11 laps. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not too sure when we pit for these. I can't remember exactly. But it's going to be a struggle maybe to finish the race on these option tyres. 16 laps to go on them. But we got the pace, so maybe you can stretch out our gap. If we can try and overtake Hulkenberg as quickly as possible, then we can try and pull out our gap from him, and then maybe see us through to get 5th place. But now we're on the back of Hulkenberg, on to lap 41 as it will be. We've got DRS wide open. We used all our KERS to get into the DRS zone of Hulkenberg, so no KERS to help us steer down the pit straight. Tap of KERS now from the new as we go across the line. We're going to overtake Hulkenberg. Nicely done. Back into the racing line. We're into 5th place now. And oh god, we got a bit wide, and Hulkenberg might come back at us. We're going to defend hard into this second corner, make sure he doesn't cut us across and get the undercut on the apex. We're going a tiny bit wide, and Hulkenberg's still very much there. So now we're going to try and pull out from Hulkenberg and try and press on to maybe get 4th place, which is here actually for the taking. Grosjean coming out of nowhere in 4th place, right in front of us now. We haven't seen him the whole Grand Prix really, but it looks like he's fallen back, and he's in 4th place at the moment. So he's what's stopping us from getting 4th place. Getting very close to him, very close indeed, with the front wing and the rear right tyre there. But we're not going to make a move down that inside. It would have been stupid to with the realistic damage mod. We're going to go down the inside of this next corner, down the inside of Romain Grosjean. We're going to go wheel to wheel, banging tyres a tiny bit, going to give him the room around the outside, but we've got much better traction there on lap 43, and we've overtaken Romain Grosjean for 4th place. So I think 3rd place is out of the question, so we've really just got to hold position and go to the end of this race on P4 on these option tyres, and up until lap 56. And speaking of lap 56, here we are. Sebastian Vettel has won the race of the Malaysian Grand Prix. But as you can see, our tyres are absolutely wrecked. Look at those tyres, completely brick red. We've gone 16 laps on these tyres. We're in P4 though, and we're 3 seconds just about ahead of Felipe Massa, who's overtaken Romain Grosjean. We did actually have an 8-second gap to Felipe Massa at one point, or about lap 48. And since lap 48 till lap 56, he's closed it down to 3 seconds. So it just shows the drop off on these option tyres. But nevertheless, we're coming through to the final corner of this 100% Malaysian Grand Prix, and we're going to come through for 4th place here, a good 4th place to add to our tally from the last Grand Prix of a podium on the Australian Grand Prix. Here we go, 4th place at the Malaysian Grand Prix. Good stuff from 22nd. It was a hard fight. The start was very crucial, and I think maybe if we were maybe a bit more aggressive at the start, we could have maybe got a podium. But, you know, we had to be cautious because of that realistic damage mod. Obviously, that makes it very tricky, especially in wet conditions. We can't see too much But still, 4th place is very good, and it's going to continue on our nice momentum of getting some good top points in this Williams car from the back of the grid with all these mods installed. I hope you guys have thoroughly enjoyed this Malaysian Grand Prix episode. I thought it was a very good race, some lovely moves there, and a really action-packed start and finish to it. Trying to defend from Massa with those worn tyres and also the wet action at the beginning. But I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Do give it a massive like if you did enjoy it. Comment below on what you thought. Favourite it if you want to. Subscribe if you're new for weekly F1 and more of this 100% career mode. They will slowly keep on coming out, guys. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I've been aarava, and I will see you guys next time.